Živio, Heather Trevar-Tukaj, your Slovenian citizen diplomat. Today the topic is language. Is there an official language of the United States? What about Slovenia? And how these two countries treat the issue of an official language, what does that say about each of them culturally? Let's find out right now. So, does Slovenia have an official language? Well, in fact, it does. And in fact, it has more than one. Let's see what the Constitution of Slovenia has to say. Article 11, the official language in Slovenia is Slovene. In those municipalities where Italian or Hungarian national communities reside, Italian or Hungarian shall also be official languages. Why is this important? Well, Slovenia actually used to be twice the size that it is today. There was a big chunk of Slovenia that Italy and Great Britain took from Slovenia in World War I in a secret treaty. That's what it's called, is the secret treaty. And there were even areas that were exclusively Slovene that were just handed over to Italy. Austria has also taken a chunk of Italy. There were a beautiful part of the Julian Alps that you can see from Chantinel in Slovenia. They used to be Slovenian. Now they're Austrian. Same thing with Croatia. Same thing with Hungary. So maybe because Slovenia understands what it's like when your people are absorbed against their will into another country, that the people who are ethnic minorities in Slovenia need to be protected. For the United States, think of it like this. You were Mexican and you were in Mexico, and all of a sudden it becomes the United States. And now you're a stranger in your own land. In fact, you might even get booted out and told you're no longer allowed to live here. So I think this is a really important cultural trait of Slovenia that they do this. But let's see what else they have to say. Article 14. In Slovenia, everyone shall be guaranteed equal human rights and fundamental freedoms irrespective of, among other things, language. In the United States, we had a case called Roe v. Wade. You may have heard of it, but it's predicated on other cases involving the right to privacy. And one of those cases dealt with the right of parents to parent. And in that particular case, the parenting issue was, could they teach their kids German, send them to a Catholic school that taught German during World War II? So you can see that the right to speak the language you want to speak, that you need to speak in your home, out in public, matters. There may be an official language of the country, but you should still be able to speak whatever language you want. Is there anything else interesting here? Let's see. Article 16, human rights and fundamental freedoms provided by this Constitution may exceptionally be temporarily suspended or restricted during a war and state of emergency. It's called martial law, and sometimes it is necessary. However, the article goes on to say human rights and fundamental freedoms may be suspended or restricted only for the duration of the war or state of emergency, but only to the extent required by such circumstances, and inasmuch as the measures adopted do not create inequality based solely on race, national origin, sex, language, etc. So again, we're going back to the importance of language. Article 19, anyone deprived of his liberty must be immediately informed in his mother tongue or in a language which he understands. It's due process. Everyone, this is Article 62, everyone has the right to use his language and script in a manner provided by law in the exercise of his rights and duties and in procedures before state and other bodies performing a public function. So you see that in Slovenia, Slovene is the official language, along with co-official languages of Hungary, Hungarian, and Italian. And this is important because this is how we communicate. So we have an official language which helps preserve Slovenian culture, really important for the Slovenes because it's such a small country that has been decreased by about 50% since World War I, having other countries take the land from it. And also because these are not a people who migrate, they're not a people who travel a lot. It's really important for them to preserve their language. And I will tell you that among Slovenes in Canada and Ohio, I've seen story after story, and I experienced it myself in my own home, how easy it is in one generation to lose your culture. And it starts with language. So it's really important, and I understand why they want to make it an official language, but I really love the fact that they make a point to say, we don't care what language you speak, you're going to be able to defend yourself properly when you need to know what's being said to you. We're going to give you an interpreter in your language or a language you understand. And we can't discriminate against you because you're speaking a language other than Slovenian, Italian, or Hungarian. In the United States, what is the situation? Well, it's a little different. There is no official language in the United States. You can read the Constitution all you want. It's not there. I know, again, when I did my video on water rights, I took you all through the Constitution. I was being sarcastic and just playing around. I'm not going to do that. There's no official language in the Constitution. But what is interesting, what is really interesting, is as an immigration attorney, I can tell you that if you go to an immigration interview to become a citizen of the United States, you have to pass an English language test. Right. It's not an official language, but you have to pass the test. I hear what you're going to say. But Heather, we have to know you can function in society. Right. Then tell me why it is in certain parts of California, Texas, New Mexico, the test isn't given in Spanish. I don't know the answer to that question. Oh, yes, I do. We discriminate against people based on language because we're afraid of culture and different skin types and different nationalities. So what I hope you guys get from this is that we need to embrace language. It's really important to people's culture, and we learn from other cultures like Slovenia. It's really important for preserving your culture, but it's also important to embrace other languages to protect other people from discrimination and help them preserve their culture. Language, why are we so afraid of learning a second language? There have been studies done to show that it actually helps your brain grow. It increases your neural pathways. You learn to do more complex functions when you learn a language. You shouldn't be afraid of this. It should not be a thing where we're afraid because someone speaks Spanish. And 100 years from now, it won't be Spanish probably. It might be English that we're afraid of, or French, or whatever. It's always the same story, though. So guys, let's try and do a better job. Let's embrace language in different cultures. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing for weekly updates. Until next time, adios.